How far would you go to achieve a goal? The Dark Souls series is known for its difficulty. Each game has something it exceeds in. Dark Souls had interconnectivity and level design, Dark Souls 2 had variety and color, and Dark Souls 3 exceeds in its boss design. What's left to do once you best those bosses? Push them to their limit. Getting right into it, allow me to outline the rules for the challenge. The only weapon allowed for this run is the Broken Straight Sword. It'll be the workhorse for the entire runtime of the playthrough. You can do whatever you want with it, infusions, weapon buffs, it's up to you. There are 13 required bosses to beat the game. Of those, you only need to beat 11 with the Broken Sword. The two you don't are Eodix Gundyr and Yorm the Giant. Gundyr isn't fought with the challenge rules because you can't get the Broken Sword before fighting him, so he's excluded. Yorm, on the other hand, you do have the Broken Sword, however the fight is a gimmick. The intended way to fight him is to use the Stormbreaker, a weapon that activates in this fight specifically. The fight with the Broken Sword takes literally 25 minutes, so you can do it if you want, but it's not recommended. Now that the rules are laid out, let's fight some bosses. First on the list is Vort of the Boreal Valley. There isn't too much to say about this one, just stay either behind him or under him, and none of his attacks will hit you. Except for in the second phase. In phase 2 his entire body gains a hitbox, so you'll need to actually roll the attacks, which makes it quite a bit harder. 1 down, 10 to go. Next is the Crystal Sage, another fairly simple boss. The only attack you need to roll for is the Sword Slash. Usually whenever you hit the Crystal Sage it'll just teleport away, but that doesn't happen if you parry his sword swipes. Just practice the timing and you can get the entire fight without him teleporting once. 2 down, 9 to go. Deacons of the Deep is next on the list. It's honestly one of the most frustrating bosses with the Broken Sword. You just look for the one with the red glow, attack it, so on and so forth. Don't take too long though, or else the room will fill up with Curse. 3 down, 8 to go. Abyss Watchers is 4th on the list. This one will be a lot harder than the other 3. In the first phase, there's 3 of them. 2 will attack you, but one of them has red glowing eyes and will fight back against the other 2. Use the opportunity of distraction to attack the main one with the boss health bar, and you'll move right on to phase 2, where it's just a one-on-one fight. 4 down, 7 to go. 5th on the list is High Lord Wulnir, the easiest boss in the game by far. Just attack his glowing bracelets and it'll be over before you know it. 5 down, 6 to go. Pontiff Sullivan, the big mid-game roadblock every player must face to move on to the endgame. He's very susceptible to parrying, but this one essentially boils down to applying all of the knowledge you've gained throughout the playthrough so far. It's going to be a hard one, but with time and perseverance, you can take him down. Halfway there, 5 left. Aldrich is next on the list. This one is not nearly as fun as Pontiff. He spends most of the time running away and letting you attack him. Don't get caught by the second phase arrows, and you should be able to take him down pretty easily. 4 left. Dancer is another fairly hard skill check, but he's not as bad as Pontiff. You took him down, so this one should be easy as well. Dancer has a very interesting moveset, moving like a Beyblade in the second phase. Dodge the spins, and then you win. 3 left. Next is the Dragon Slayer armor. This one is a much more cookie-cutter boss. No cheap tricks, no gimmicks, just 2 people in armor fighting to be the last one standing. Don't get caught by the AoE attacks and you'll have the experience you'll need to take him down. 2 left. The semifinals are coming up fast, and with it comes Lorien and Lothric. The first phase is just Lorien. He has a pretty simple moveset, but watch out for those teleports, they can really catch you off guard. Second phase adds Lothric to the fray. He only adds complementary magic to Lorien's moveset, so he's really not that much of an addition, Just watch out, because no matter how much you defeat Lorien, Lothric is the one you need to take down to end the fight. One left. Soul of Cinder, the last boss in the game, and also one of the hardest as well. It's by far the longest fight in the base game. He pulls out all of the stops just to see you dead. The first phase, he swaps between 4 different forms: Longsword, Staff, Lance, and Scimitar. Sword is where he starts. It's the simplest of his form. Standard slashes and sweeps. Kinda tricky, but not too bad compared to some other things you've fought. Next is the Staff. It's by far the easiest of his forms. The one attack that's dangerous is the Crystal Soul Mass floating above him. They stay through his form changes. Third is the Lance, another fairly simple form, lots of pokes and not much else to it. Finally is the Scimitar, the most difficult of the forms. Very fast attacks, and he can parry you! He also has Power Within during this form. It increases his damage output against you. Once you get past all 4 forms, you'll arrive at the second phase, a callback to the very first Dark Souls game. The moveset is almost identical to that of Gwyn, the first Lord of Cinder. The fight slows down and gets easier as you near the end of the fight. Congratulations, you have now completed the base game of Dark Souls 3 with a broken straight sword. But we aren't quite done yet. There's one more boss until you've really completed the game. Slave Knight Gale, often considered as a contender for the hardest boss in Dark Souls 3, and the true end of the Dark Souls series. Serving as a true test of all the skill built up over the playthrough, Gale is the longest fight in the series. In Phase 1, he fights like a rabid beast, jumping and wildly slashing around. Watch out for that grab attack, and you should be able to get past it no problem. In Phase 2, he regains his composure and slows the fight down, requiring very precise timing on your rolls and directional awareness in order to best this form of him. Phase 3 is where all bets are off. Mixing the attributes of the first and second phase, he's back to flipping around as lightning strikes all around the player. Eventually, he'll finally fall as the last obstacle in your way. It's over. Nothing stands in your way now. You've seen your goal through to the end. Congratulations, and thank you for watching.